sources tell us the world's energy resources will be fully exhausted within 5 years.
5 years? 5? That is so short a window it's basically not believable at all. All these cars are shown here shortly to be in line to buy gasoline, because apparently there's a shortage or something. But look how many of them are wasting gas idling here in this line instead of shutting the car off.
Are you serious?
People who honk their horn in traffic when it has no chance of moving and think the honking is funny.
Because people are starving.
Should have had fewer babies then, society. Tea dripping. What is he doing here? They're supposedly working through why the test failed, but they're all standing around holding nothing. No one's writing anything down. This looks like a pep talk more than anything else, and it's hilarious. He could be telling a dirty joke right now. Holy it was day 16, the test failed, and then the movie yada yada over 80 days. Can't wait until we see 10 Clover Knee Lane and the Clover Knee Paradox, both of which will have very little to do with Clover Knee.
Man, this movie's going so fast, it's like a theme park ride. Whee!
We only have enough fuel for 3 more firings.
Always the fucking fuel, man. Jesus Christ, 10 minutes into this supposed Cloverfield sequel, nothing's happened, and yet I am still not entertained. That's the very opposite of a paradox. You know, it would have been cool, an expanded Cloverfield universe where the films were planned from the start to be part of the Cloverfield universe, instead of being bought square and shoved into a round hole. Also, what a weird place for the title. Why not do this back during all the dramatic music and the other credits? This is anticlimactic. You fucking pricks. You have 3 firings left to save the entire world. This is not the time for foosball. It sure is amazing that this entire crew can speak Mandarin to the one Chinese person on the ship. Was it required for the absolute top scientists on this mission to also know Mandarin just in case their engineer was Chinese?
You know how many pressure leaks we've had? Not one. No microbe overgrowth, nothing. Do you know why?
This is a long speech, Volkov.
This guy buries the lead with some long speech about how he does his job, when what he really wants to say is, Schmidt, because you're German, I think you're purposely f***ing up our mission to screw the Russians on Earth over. Why can't we just get to that?
Germany is preparing for war, and every day that goes by, more and more Russians are starving.
Earlier, Michael told Ava that the Russians were planning a ground invasion in the UK. But since then, 2 years have gone by and we have no f***ing clue what's going on down on the planet, other than vague snippets of dialogue. This movie's been so eager to not be Cloverfield, it forgot to be everything else too.
Maybe you're not in such a hurry to get the shepherd working.
There are so many legit reasons for there to maybe be tension on this station, but you want Russians to suffer, so you are intentionally sabotaging the device, which means everyone will suffer, is a pretty f***ing stupid one if you ask me.
But those who have accepted the Cloverfield Paradox is real.
Roll paradoxes. Also, Donald Logue plays Mark Stambler, and I guess he's related to Howard Stambler, aka John Goodman from 10 Cloverfield Lane. And the interviewer is Suzanne Cryer, who played the chick who tried to get inside Howard's house that died in that movie. I guess what I'm trying to say is, who the f*** cares?
Accelerator worry you so much?
Because that accelerator is 1,000 times more powerful than any ever built.
Why are the astronauts, right before a super important one of 3 remaining tests, watching the talking heads on TV news debating the experiment? Don't you have some shit to be doing? Could the movie give us the talking heads in some other way without it being the astronauts watching it?
This experiment could unleash chaos, monsters, demons.
This guy is right. The Shepherd's experiments will cause dimensions to collide with each other, leading to the Cloverfield monster on Earth. That's hardly the point of this movie. It's a big MacGuffin that ties into the franchise, but it also seems to contradict the first movie's monster origins. But because we're now talking about multiple dimensions and multiple Earths, I guess anything is possible now, making it less likely for me to care.
Monk, turn that off.
Also, Monk, why'd you have that on in the first place? Now the space scientists will pray before the big experiment. There's the Slusho Easter egg for all you Cloverfield fanboys. That's why you're here, right? The Slusho guy?
Oh man, Hamilton, you screen load.
Why wasn't this already on the screen? Isn't this the experiment?
Keel, it isn't there.
Hamilton plays the pronoun game so that everyone has to ask what the hell it means.
The Earth. I can't find anything.
See, Experiment in Space Goes Wrong, Earth Disappears should be a much better movie than this one, just on premise alone. And yet, here we are. She can't find mission control signal. She can't find any other signal. They're pretty sure Earth is gone, and her next experiment is to try to Skype her husband. Like, once she sees she can't do that, will she truly believe Earth is gone now? Also, isn't it weird that after concluding Earth was gone, none of them tried to look for Mars, or Venus, or the Moon, or any other sign that it was the Earth for sure that moved and not their space station?
Found the problem with the gyro.
What, it's fried?
It's not here.
Hamilton is the dramatic reveal scientist, always making you guess what the is going on before telling you what's going on. Later we find out this guy's got not only this entire tank full of worms inside of him, he also has the gyro inside of him. The very idea that he isn't immediately dead from that is mind-boggling, but horror movies got a horror, I guess. This chick from the Sovereign magically appears on the ship with some of the ship's wires running through her. Weird, right? But it appears the chaos predicted by Professor Donald Logue is just random bullshit, as if they have a heart of gold's improbability drive on it. This Russian dude gets filled up with worms they brought up to space. Chris O'Dowd from Bridesmaids deals with a dickhead ship panel, and even the ship itself appears to be from a parallel dimension. And oh yeah, the Cloverfield monster shows up on Earth. Other than that, kind of a win, right? It's certainly better than what happened after the 2016 presidential election. That panel is not thick enough or made of any material that could have made her human screaming sound the way it did before they removed the panel. I'm just saying. Also, this whole scene is f***ing gross.
Hamilton!
Look, Hamilton certainly is a great musical, but I doubt it can help you out of this situation.
Sure said what did it? Jesus Christ.
Movie tries to keep the Cloverfield monster a surprise, forgetting we've seen Cloverfield.
We're definitely not in Kentucky anymore.
Kansas.
Kansas? Really? Who gives a shit?
People from Kansas?
Nope. Doubtful even people in Kansas care. They're probably glad Kentucky's getting this overused line for a change. Oh no, something's causing the foosball table to go crazy. Maybe it'll have anything to do with the plot of this movie at all? You're saying it doesn't? I thought we were about to see the ghost of Frederic Collignon haunt this ship.
Hey, the worms are missing.
Just wondering, why the f*** did they bring worms up here? If the experiment is to find a source of unlimited energy, just what do the worms do? Damn it, now we may never know if worms can be trained to sort tiny screws in space.
Now you focus and you get your shit together, you understand me?
She does, which makes me wonder why everyone's decided to polish off their Mandarin to talk to her the whole movie.
再用这种口气跟我说话，我们俩之间的问题会远远大过沙盆危机。
Oh man, if this experiment turned her into Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I'll knock 50 cents off. I'll say again, this guy is filled with a tank full of overgrown worms, and the ship's gyro, and this is all that's happening to him. Stop showing people puking in movies! It's amazing that gun doesn't go off during this seizure, given his terrible trigger discipline.
Well, we found the worms.
That Russian guy died, f*** him.
We've been on the station for 2 years.
So, alternate realities and teleportation? I'm not saying I'm against it, but I am saying it's probably a bit much. Whatever. I feel like I could go watch the Star Trek The Next Generation episodes, Yesterday's Enterprise, In Theory, and Parallels, and get 10 times the enjoyment as I will from this movie, but still have the same themes explored. Although In Theory really isn't all that great an episode, it's just that it has a dude who gets phased halfway into the floor and stuck there, so that's why it's included. But the other two episodes are dope-ass all-time classics.
Who are you? What do you mean, who am I? It's me, Mina.
In the parallel universe Jensen lives in, she's friends with Hamilton, and things are different enough that Hamilton's kids are still alive. But how are things that significantly different without being almost totally different? Jensen was on the Cloverfield ship with nearly the exact same crew minus Tam and Hamilton. It's impossible that this parallel universe has just a few minor differences without changing the entire planet. This is butterfly effect type shit. Even the slightest change could make the world unrecognizable to you and me. It's goddamn insane that there's even the same people on this other Earth.
Don't trust Schmidt. It was him. Schmidt sabotaged the ship.
Okay, you heard everything else she had to say and didn't believe she was previously aboard this station. But she says that, and suddenly you're curious?
I saw the order! I saw your response!
Have you lost your mind?
The movie thinks it's so smart, but I am not lost. Not yet. Clearly it was Schmidt in another reality that was a saboteur, but the one here was not, and it seems damn obvious. What's the word for when the characters take 3 times as long as the audience to reach conclusions that should be obvious? Ah, yes, I remember. It's called the Cloverfield Paradox. I mean, is whatever causing this a horror movie villain? I get that dimensions are colliding and whatnot, but it seems to have a Freddy Krueger mindset.
Where's my arm?
I like Chris O'Dowd a lot, but this character must be taking all the best space drugs if he reacts to everything in a comic relief sort of way.
Do you think there's any chance it might grow back?
This is exactly what I said to my college girlfriend after we... Also, this movie is starting to feel like they had a brainstorming session but didn't veto any ideas and then went and wrote the script.
Particles interacting with each other across 2 dimensions. 2 distinct realities in a multiverse. Fighting to occupy the same space, creating chaos.
Or just mild inconveniences. Seriously, the ideas brought up by this movie are actually too big for the movie they're in.
Cars, bar car, open?
I say we do what the arm says. Also, since you're a disembodied arm that can write like this, why not just tell them what's in Volkov's body already? How did Monday's arm know this was inside Volkov's body? Is the arm sentient because it has a weird existence?
So we're hoping that the piece of equipment you found in someone's stomach is what's going to save the day.
You can't sin the movie while you're shooting the movie.
We have to get the Shepard fixed and fired again. What we know about quantum entanglement dictates it should bring us back.
If you say so. You only just realized fully what has transpired here, but you know the solution so well, it again makes me wonder why it took you so long to figure out the situation. You shouldn't text
while driving.
God damn it, little girl, that's my line.
Bad things are happening, but good people are gonna make it better.
No, they won't. It's not a mediocre space movie without a discount Titanic near drowning scene. What? Luckily, during the crash of dimensions, the Cloverfield Paradox sent a replacement engineer to this ship who can take Tam's place.
You can't. Not without Tam.
Maybe not.
Tell you what, let's put a pin in this discussion right here, walk over to the med bay where the girl you're suggesting we replace Tam with is sitting, and then finish the debate there, savvy?
Are you sure about this?
How can anyone on this station ask this question with a straight face anymore?
Nothing of mine would fit you, but try this.
The only clothing that could fit the 6'3" tall Jensen is the equally tall Mundy. So why did she bother saying anything about her own clothes? Just say, these are Mundy's clothes, he's the only person tall enough on the ship to provide you clothing.
In this world, your family's alive. They're on Earth.
Where else would they be? Kansas? Of course they'd be on Earth.
That's why you didn't come up here.
So in the other world, Hamilton didn't go so she could stay with the kids. But in the photo, it shows that nobody replaced her. So why did this world need her on the ship, and the other world said, we don't need no Hamilton, or anybody like Hamilton?
So we turn off the O2 pumps via the Shepard, then route the power generated by the now operational Shepard, and restart the pumps. That's clever.
It's also the exact thing they did in Apollo 13, so maybe Apollo 13 is clever.
They're alive.
Jesus Christ, Hamilton, you play the pronoun game more than actual pronouns do. You definitely play more pronoun games than Rudolph the Red-Nosed She. So stupid Ava tells the commander that she's going to stay behind in this reality because her kids are alive here, even though she knows there's another her already caring for the kids. She has no place here. She's just gonna stalk the kids like Miss Piggy and Muppets Take Manhattan, I guess, because she is stupid.
Ava, that's not your family down there. That's hers.
I'm looking forward to the Cloverfield spin-off Gugu Mbata Raw. You want to see two Gugus fighting for the right to be their living mother? Come see the raw emotion, the raw conflict, the souls bared raw. Rated raw. I mean R for raw.
Ava that's down there wants the same thing I do. I know her. She'll steal energy for her family just like I did, and they won't survive.
Okay.
Keel allows this.
Even with one stumpy arm, I think I can get this done.
He sure has adjusted well and rapidly to having one arm. Like most people would need months of therapy. He's been cracking jokes about it since, 5 minutes after it happened. While I watch him put magnet putty on the wall, I'm reminded of the last time he was doing this, when the wall ate his arm, which then showed up later doing its own thing. Are we ever going to explain that? You'd think with interdimensional clashing, crazy would be happening all the time. But in this movie, it's very selective about doing crazy only when the plot demands it. How did none of the metal things slamming into this metal wall set off a spark? Remember, they said he'd die in a fiery explosion if a single spark went off while he was surrounded by oxygen. You mean they never bothered to look over at the screen until Mundy was completely screwed? Weren't they trying to contact him a minute ago? Wouldn't checking the monitor have been a good thing? So you're telling me they're going to do something to fix this that will somehow allow the Shepard to still work? Because if so, f*** all that.
This isn't gonna hold much longer.
Thanks, Keel. The whole reason you're up here is because of that very obvious thing you just said. I literally don't care what happens. Marvin the Martian and Michael Jordan could swing by and save the day and I'd be fine. Just so long as this thing f***ing ends. When was the last time the final 20 minutes of a movie felt like 3 hours? Return of the King, maybe?
It's jammed.
Of course it is. Also, he'd be able to move it if he did the Mokhtar chant of strength.
Keel, what are you doing?
To decouple the ring, this portal has to be locked.
We can do something with the ship, but the failsafe makes somebody have to sacrifice themselves to work cliché. Jesus, every time we cut back to the husband and the little girl, an already boring movie grinds to a halt.
We'll prep the Shepard to fire twice. Once to overload, which should get us home. Then again with Tam's equation programmed in, which should give us the energy we need.
So, in other words, let's do that stupid thing that crashed the dimensions together in the first place, and that definitely won't cause any further problems, and it'll send us back to Earth for some reason. That's how dimensions crashing into each other work. You can just undo it by doing the same thing you did last time. This is why you don't punch or pistol whip people you actually want to incapacitate for longer than a few seconds. Why would an escape pod have live feed, multi-monitor security footage of the inside of the ship?
If you're asking me if I'm willing to kill 3 people to save 8 billion, wouldn't you?
Actually, it's 8 billion and 2, Jensen. Remember, in your world, Hamilton's kids are alive. Guy who got shot holding a sudden pipe ex machina. Holy forgotten arm, Batman. Also, Mundy is super dead, and we still never got a good explanation for the arm moving and thinking for itself, or the ghost activity like the spinning of the foosball guys. There's no 4 keys on any goddamn wrist pad on her spacesuit that she can key in and call up a specific video and Chromecast onto a nearby TV. That is the fakest, bullshittiest lie this movie ever told, goddammit. Foos fight? Foo Fighters? Whatever that was. Ava fired into the TV, and all I can say is thank God the windows on this station all double as TVs, and that Jensen decided to send this video from her wrist to that window TV. Also, Spider-Man and Iron Man called from Infinity War, and even though their movie came out after yours, they are owned by Marvel Disney Globo Gym, and are still suing you for $1 jillion for stealing their idea they stole from you but tried to pass off as an Aliens reference. GMR, I need you to look happy. Insanely happy. No, happy, damn you! You won't be happy, damn it! We need to juxtapose the two U's, because it'll be dramatic and shit. No! Happy!
You're not losing your mind, I promise. I'm you.
So wait, is this an audio recording? I know some got f***ed up on the ship, but does that mean all the cameras aren't working? Wouldn't it be better if she did this with video? Also, I think a Total Recall ripoff beat feels oddly appropriate here at the end of this movie that's basically a parade of cribbed sci-fi beats masquerading as an original film.
I need to say 2 things.
First, don't eat yellow snow. Second, no one knows what the 3 seashells do. Everyone's just using their hand and pretending they know how the shells work. Also, she tells the other her, with no explanation, not to steal power cells and tells her to hug her family. Explaining the power cell thing would explain both things, but it's important to be cryptic when you're talking to a parallel you.
Hold them for as long as you can.
This goes on for some time. Like, an incredible amount of time for a message that opened with, I have to be quick. Also, she never once says, I'm you from an alternate dimension and I'm here because my reality Shepard done things up, even though she clearly has time for it. Yep, that worked. They definitely didn't have the same conditions running that experiment as they did the last time, but sure, overloading the Shepard accelerator just sent them straight back to Earth, no questions asked.
Have a stable beam.
This is exactly what I said to my college girlfriend after
You're having to come back to Earth.
Michael doesn't want Hamilton to come back because there are Cloverfield monsters running amok on the planet. What the was she supposed to do? Is there enough food and oxygen on the Shepard until they get a bounty hunter to kill all the monsters?
Do they know what's happening here?
No, there wasn't time. We lost contact.
Either the space organization is stupid or evil for letting Hamilton and Schmidt come back without warning them first. Right after she told Huntsville that the accelerator was working, a whole bunch of people cheered. And then they went immediately to the landing capsule. There was no radio issue at all at that moment. Did he eat the lunar capsule? Who cares? This final shot of the monster is a big you. We're never going to see those people again anyway. The next Cloverfield will take place during a Steve Carell comedy.
You find this man. You find this man.
Those who have accepted the Cloverfield Paradox is real.
The clit's real, all right. It's the female orgasm. That's the myth.
Single cyclotomic field. Using the art and map, we might induce homomorphisms. No one has been able to accomplish such constructions yet.
Hi, this is Nikki. Leave a message. Hi, this is Nikki. Leave a message. Mike?
Nikki! Great!
Don't ever call me again.
Three, 2, 1, come on.
You're gonna be okay! Say the goddamn words! You're gonna be okay!
Been a long road getting from there to here.